Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock, let's go over the market, let's talk about what is happening in this market, what we can expect moving forward, and all that good stuff. So ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy, please don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. But if you do enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, updates, and you want these updates as the market is trading, as opposed to only at the end of the day like it is right now, well, I do have a YouTube membership. Link is below for just $3 a month. That's all it is. Definitely check it out. Again, just $3 a month. That link is below for my thoughts, post updates, mainly on Tesla stock, sometimes other stocks that I share as well. Again, $3 a month or $5 a month gives you access to everything in the first tier plus NVDA daily updates as well. But jumping into it, ladies and gentlemen, Tesla down almost, we'll say 6%. I mean, it was down more than 6% at the lowest point of the day, but down almost, we'll say 6%, closing at pretty much $272 per share, which compared to the market is going to be an underperformance by Tesla today. But, this it shouldn't come as a surprise, right? This shouldn't be an overall surprise for you. Why? Because, we mentioned this yesterday, right? Everyone yesterday was talking about how Tesla is going to 300 plus, like tomorrow, aka today, right? People were overwhelmingly bullish once again, right? It's just, it's very easy to do. I mean, it's hard sometimes, right? The market pumps and it's hard not to be bullish, right? The market tanks and it's hard not to want to be bearish, right? But that's exactly why the market's so damn good at what it does, right? And, we talked about yesterday how, best case scenario I could see is this fair value gap closer to like maybe 293, right? And if somehow, the Bears really get squeezed and the Bulls really step in, maybe we can see, that, pretty much $300 by Friday. But, I also mentioned how, it's not something I'm personally expecting, I guess you can say, mainly because it's just not what I see in the cards, essentially, is what I'm trying to say, right? And, we mentioned all that yesterday. I'm not going to go over all of it again. So what we did today was roughly what we expected, right? Where we had this nice little sell-off, right? Again, almost 6% is quite a bit, but when you think about it in a different sense, like, I went from 290 to 270, it doesn't sound as bad, right? It doesn't sound as bad. It sounds a little bit less painful than 6%. Wow, that sounds a lot worse than it actually kind of feels like, in my opinion. But we came down to the EMAs, right? We mentioned how we were way too far away from the EMAs, and now, a cool off is expected. RSI was well overbought, right? MACD was even starting to show some bearish divergences, and there was just essentially bearish divergences that existed that, to me at least, suggested that, okay, there still might be some short-term pop, right? There could be a little bit more room to the upside, but probably nothing too crazy, right? And there, in my opinion, was a higher likelihood of that sell-off or cool off or whatever. So now that we are pretty much in the middle of that cool off, what does this actually mean moving forward? Is the cool off done? Is there more cool off to be had, and essentially more pain? Is it ready to rocket? Like, what do I think? Again, just my opinion. I could be wrong, but my honest opinion is the fact that I think Tesla is actually not going to do a whole lot. And when I say a whole lot, I mean a whole lot in today's volatility, right? Pretty much the rest of the week. I don't think it's going to go too crazy for the rest of the week until like Friday, mainly because we have delivery numbers next week. I think Tuesday, if not Tuesday or maybe it's Wednesday. Let me double check. I think it's Wednesday actually. Yeah, it's next week Wednesday. It's literally a week from today. There's a chance that Tesla doesn't do too much up until that, right? So currently what I expect is if there is more cool off to be had and there is more pain to be had, we could get one more little sell off, one more continuation down to the downside, pretty much closer to the 50 exponential moving average on the 1 hour chart, which is also kind of roughly lined up with this situation that you can see over here with some support and resistance levels up here, which again, about 263-ish, right? Something like that. That is still technically in the cards in my opinion. And, we could still sell off to there. Absolutely, right? That is an absolute possibility, which again, from today's close would be another sell-off of about maybe 3% roughly. But as of right now, I don't expect too much worse than that. I do expect that area to hold, and I really would love to hold and close Tesla above about 260 roughly for the week to get back into this channel. That would be a pretty good sign, in my opinion, if Tesla can hold and close the week above 260. That would be ideal. Now, to the upside, right? Again, like I mentioned, as of right now, at least, I mean, again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does decide to rocket. Who knows? I mean, Trump is supposed to talk about some kind of automobile tariffs or something like that as the market just closed. Maybe he's doing it as I'm recording this video. I don't know. So who knows what happens with that? But, one thing I am looking for, GME is down another 7% after hours. I wonder what's going on there. But yeah, so I don't personally believe Tesla is going to rocket to 300 yet. Like, I don't think it's going to do that. Like, if I had to take a guess, if you will, as to what I think Tesla will do pretty much tomorrow and Friday, right? The rest of the week, I think it'll go sideways in this vicinity right here. as low as about, again, that 263 area, or it might once again come up to about the mid to low 280s. I don't think it's going to be doing too much more than that. I think we're going to essentially start going sideways, start forming some kind of pattern, which as the price, continues and we start getting more information, we'll start getting a better idea as to what the, pattern or whatever the structure essentially is developing can potentially look like, right? All those kind of things. And that's kind of what I'll be looking for moving forward, right? So again, so far it's playing out as expected. Nothing shouldn't be surprising if you watch yesterday's video, right? It's pretty much almost to perfection, right to that 21-day moving average, 21-hour moving average as well. But yeah, again, the moving averages were too spread apart. We just crossed above them. I'd be pretty surprised if Tesla just completely and utterly cracks well back under, like let's say back to like 250 or even 240s, like off of this move. Like it could happen. I'd be pretty surprised. I don't believe it's going to happen because after such a long downtrend, and now that the exponential moving averages in the 1 hour are back to being bullish, and now that the RSI has kind of reset, if you will, all these factors, it'd be pretty shocking to me and disappointing, honestly, if we just completely collapse and go well below 260 and 250, and especially by Friday. That'd be pretty surprising to me. I don't think that's going to happen personally, but I mean, I could be wrong. But yeah, exponential moving averages are still bullish. They're starting to get a little bit tighter, which I like to see. Remember how I mentioned here they were very wide apart. Usually that doesn't last. It implies a strong bullish movement, but it doesn't usually last very long. These movements usually end up being nice bull traps for people that are FOMOing in, and that's exactly what ended up being. People that FOMOed in on this run up towards the last 30 minutes yesterday. Well, they're now left holding a bit of a bag, right? I mean, it is what it is, right? So I still wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit tighter, maybe a little bit more sideways action, 263, 285, something like that, in that general range. It's a big range, I know, but Tesla's pretty volatile right now, so sometimes these bigger ranges it is what it is. And I want to wait for more information on the pattern. I want to see something develop. I want to see maybe something like a bull flag start developing. We have this nice little move up here. Maybe we get this kind of move up like this, and then we break out and we start creating this little bull flag on the 1 hour. I don't know. I want to see something like that start developing. I want to make sure it happens while the exponential moving averages are still crossed to the bullish side as they are right now. Essentially, I don't want the green and the red line, the 8 and the 21 respectively, to go back down below the 50. And I essentially also don't really want Tesla to go drop below about 263 to 260. Those are the ideal scenarios for me. As long as those two things remain intact, I do believe Tesla is still holding up the more bullish aspect of things. I still believe that it will see further upside after this cool off and correction is finished. And that's kind of my current base assessment on the stock without, again, overcomplicating it too much. Taking a quick look on the daily chart, you can see the daily is also holding above the 21 exponential moving average, and we barely just closed above it. We have the 9 exponential moving average, or sorry, the 8 rather exponential moving average well below us at that, what is it right now? It's sitting at 262. So, that still needs to catch up, right? Again, it's a daily chart, right? It's not common for a daily chart to stay too far away. And like I said yesterday, remember yesterday we closed all the way up here, and I'm like, guys, the 8 EMA, it's a pretty fast one, and even that's pretty far away. That's not normal, right? And now we're kind of we're closer back to it, right? Now it's getting a little bit healthier. The movement is getting a little bit corrected, and it's looking a little bit nicer of a structural type movement, in my opinion, of course. And yeah, I still think it's looking pretty solid. I still like the way it's looking. I'm not bearish at all. In fact, I'm still bullish, actually. It's just, very short term. I'm still a little bit on the more bearish side, I guess, because I still think the cool off is not fully done just yet. But again, that's my current expectations. And again, TLDR or TLDW, I still believe that for the majority of the week, if not the rest of the week, 285 to as low as 263 will be that range that we most likely will be contained in before we most likely make that move, either just before delivery numbers on early next week, Monday or Tuesday, or we actually end up having to wait until the numbers come out on Wednesday, and that's when we get the actual move out of this area. Hopefully back up to the 300s. But yeah, that's kind of my current expectations. Now, like I said, if we do get that move up to 300s, my main target is about low 300s, like 305. Best case scenario, in my opinion, is back to this top of this trend line over here, which again, depending on when it happens, right? It could take longer, it could take shorter, like really depends on when it happens. But let's say it does happen sometime next week, it can easily take us into like the 3 teens. That's a possibility as well. So let's just see. We'll take it one step at a time. I'm still overall bullish. I am still overall bullish. It's just, again, short term, maybe the rest of the week, I'm a little bit more on the conservative side, if you will, for now. But yeah, taking a quick look at options flow, see what's happening over here. Anything interesting? Yeah, nice flow towards the end of the day. So maybe the bulls are expecting a bit of a pump tomorrow morning. That is a possibility. Let's see how that plays out. But yeah, still, the options flow today, pretty neutral actually. Actually, technically more bearish than bullish flow for the day, but that was probably in the morning as the market was tanking and Tesla was tanking. And then towards the end of the day, it started getting a little bit more bullish, which is always a good sight to see. And Tesla confirmed 10 million bearish flow, nothing too crazy, pretty muted. And I think it'll stay kind of muted, right? The movement has been very volatile, and sometimes you have to think about it, like what would be the most painful thing to happen right now for Tesla stock? Think about it from a dealer's essentially point of view, right? Right now, all the bulls want the stock to get up here. Like at the very least, they want 300s minimum. They want 300s right now. What do the bears want? The bears want it to go 250, 40, 220, right? The bears want it to tank. What if we get neither? What if instead we get my personal current projection, which is sideways action right here? We don't do a whole lot. We take a few days, right? Maybe even a week, maybe even 2 weeks. I don't know. But what if that's essentially what happens? And we start to dry up the premium, because the premium is very elevated on Tesla. The IV is pretty high because of the very volatile movement. And instead, we just get sideways action as the premium dries up. That's a possibility too, right? So I don't know. Let's just see how it goes. One day at a time, one step at a time. But that's my current analysis. Let me know what you think. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.